What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Trey, and as usual, hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. Today, we're going to talk about what's a soft NBA player. But before we do that, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, comment, and tell anyone about the show. I'm trying to get the ratings up a little bit, just a little bit. But like I said, today we're going to talk about what's a soft NBA player. And this whole conversation actually spurred from me listening to Brandon Jennings, and he said Jason Tatum is a soft NBA player. Now, for me, I'm like, I don't know if JT should be viewed as soft, right? Like Jason Tatum, a soft NBA player. That's kind of tough. We can also say, well, Brandon Jennings was a soft player. I don't necessarily think either were soft players. I think when we're talking about soft, it depends on what your definition of soft is, right? For example, if we're using, the dictionary's definition, it says easy to mold, cut, compress, or fold, not hard or firm to the touch. Second definition says having a pleasing quality involving a subtle effect or contrast rather than sharp definition. So, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta say that second definition, having a pleasing quality, that might be what we talk about when we say, oh, that person's too soft. Because again, the physicality aspect, that's what we think about when we think tough players. Soft is obviously the opposite of tough. So again, JT, he does look like a nice guy. So maybe that's what does it for soft players. Like, let's use another example, like Paul George, right? We've heard Paul George, Joel Embiid, Anthony Davis, Ben Simmons. I've even heard Scottie Pippen, Jamal Murray, Andrew Bynum. These players have been viewed as soft, right? I've even heard Dwight Howard be viewed as soft before. Keep in mind, Dwight Howard was one of the most dominant players physically in the game, but yet he was viewed as soft. A lot of times, ladies and gentlemen, we think players are soft, again, just because they're nice guys. Or they might not be the most dominant, but they have a lot of talent. Or it just goes back to, they think they're not the most physically dominant. Paul George is called soft, but yet didn't Buddy break his leg and then came back and still hooped like he got a bucket after the fact? But yet we call him soft. Why? Well, I mean, I guess the mental aspect, I do understand that is a part of the game. But I don't want to call Buddy soft for real. Joel Embiid. Okay, Joel Embiid is called soft because he's not there, he's not available. That's injuries. That is a part of him. I'm not, trust me, but I've already talked about Joel Embiid. He needs to do better working out, right? I can't call him soft. End of day, Buddy is a dominant force on the block. He's just talented, so he can actually do more stuff. It's not like KD's out there dominating physically, even though, again, stature is a little different. But still, he's 7 foot. Oh, KD, you should be on the block more. No, he's able to do other things. Same thing with Joel Embiid. Now, I will say Joel Embiid needs to stop falling on the floor so much. But soft, I don't know. Again, ladies and gentlemen, it just depends on your definition of soft. Look at Anthony Davis and Ben Simmons. Those are two prime examples. Injury prone, right? We talk about Ben Simmons. He was dealing with a back injury. Hey, bro, if you say you have a back injury, I'm going to give you some grace. Anthony Davis, he started to get injured when he was on my Lakers. Are they really soft? Like, that's tough, ladies and gentlemen. Like, that's tough. That term soft. That term soft is so subjective. It really, truly is. And again, I hate putting that term on certain players because I understand what that means. If you're a player, that's basically saying, hey, you don't want to play hard. And my definition of soft is you shortchanging your team, your fan base, yourself. Because let's be honest, everybody's not going to give 100% effort every game. But if you shortchange your team in a manner which is now detrimental, and it's something that you can actually control and you're not trying to work towards that with your team, I view that as soft. That's me personally. Because everybody's play style is different. Not everyone's going to be physical. I can't say Steph Curry is the most physical player. Anthony Edwards is more physical. Does that mean Steph Curry's less tough than Anthony Edwards? I think that might be tough to say. So again, ladies and gentlemen, just because we're talking about physicality, let's not say that's soft. Now, if that's your definition, cool, I get it. But that's not my definition personally. And I was actually curious about who are some players that are actually viewed as soft. Like I was curious if we can get a little assistance here online, and I did find a nice little surprising answer. So let's talk about this list, shall we? So for starters, we did have Andre Bargnani. Again, this is the top 10 players often considered the softest. Andre Bargnani was number 1. Vince Carter at number 2. That sounds stupid as hell. Like, I'm sorry, that sounds crazy. I get he injury prone if that's your case, but he played 22 years. Like, I can't say he's soft. I don't know where that even came from. This is just showing you can't trust sources everywhere. Pau Gasol. Keep in mind, Buddy was called Pau Gasol. What was that? 08, right? When he was with us. After that, he turned the corner because we won that championship. Then in 2010, I think it solidified, hey, he not a pun. You know what I'm saying? Like Pau, cool. But he did have that moment where he was called Pau Gasol. But you are able to change that moniker if you do get labeled that, ladies and gentlemen. So I do want to keep that note. So I appreciate Pau being on this list because that was fair. But again, I don't know if he was called soft when he was on the Grizzlies. Maybe more eyes was on. But let's talk about Kwame Brown, though. Dang, I didn't think Kwame was soft until you listen to people like MJ, I guess, Gilbert Arenas, people like that, I guess, mentally, right? But Kwame, you just typically heard, hey, buddy, wasn't that good to be a number 1 pick. That was the knock on Kwame. So that's a little interesting. Charlie Villanueva, ladies and gentlemen. Charlie Villanueva, ladies and gentlemen, that's an interesting one right there. Perceived as soft due to lack of physical play and on-court demeanor. That's interesting. T-Mac. Effort and leadership questioned. Criticized for being a poor practice player. Well, look, based on my definition, ladies and gentlemen, that would be viewed as soft if that's the case. Got to be fair. Chris Bosh, often labeled as soft due to perceived lack of toughness and physicality. Keep in mind, Chris Bosh played the 5 when he was supposed to be a 4 on that Heat team. He took a lot of slack, and he removed his ego from the team. Chris Bosh is not soft at all whatsoever. I refuse to acknowledge that. I understand why some people might troll him when they say that, but I don't view Chris Bosh as soft at all whatsoever. Kyle Korver, criticized for poor defense and perceived lack of physicality. Can't call Buddy soft. I'm sorry, dog. He was tough. He was tough for me. And Mike Dunleavy, there's no way in the world we're calling Mike Dunleavy soft. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I hope y'all are realizing you cannot trust all sources online, but you can at least trust me to be fair. I promise you. But again, I'm curious what y'all think the term soft is. I'm really curious because based on the listen that I just read, based on the definition that I just gave, I got to hear y'all answers. So that's all we have for today. Thank you all for listening. Please make sure to like, subscribe, comment, tell anyone about the show. My name is Trey. I'm the host of Get a Bucket. Hope you all are having a good one. Take care.